Welcome. I am Daisy, your hostess, and in this video, I will offer a comprehensive collective message for the coming week. And in this video, we'll call it the CCM for the coming week, we will discuss what are the lunar influences during the week as the moon travels through various constellations. We'll find out what they are and what influence they will have on us. Then we will do a one card draw for each day of the week. So that's Monday and ending with Sunday. Okay, and also then we will also do another kind of highlight on what should we allow and what should we reject. What are the things that we need to kind of really welcome into our lives, and maybe some of the things that we need to kind of do a little pushback on. Then we will cover the elements of the zodiac. So we will do a reading for the air signs, the fire signs, the water signs, and the earth signs. That will be followed by a numeric influence. So we will do a draw to see what number will be kind of resonating the theme for the week. And then I'll entertain and do a fortune forecast for one of the questions that I've received from the community. And we will close this out with sound therapy and affirmation. So it will be a 1-minute meditation of presence so that we can come into an awareness and experience being in the present moment. So, are you ready? Let's get started. Start with the lunar influence. And one thing about the moon, in astrology, the moon is considered a planet. So therefore, it is one of the most fastest moving planets in the sky. And as it's transitioning through the heavens, it will move through various constellations. And it may take 2 to 3 days through that transition period. So at any given moment during the month, you may feel a different influence. You may feel different energies coming through. And that is because the moon, as that very emotional, feely, intuitive object, is creating this energy and amplifying these emotions for us, is having that influence on us and magnifies the influence of the constellation it's in. So sometimes you may feel very comfortable because it might be going through a constellation that is partnering with your element, whether it's air, water, fire, or earth. And so that explains why sometimes you feel really great and sometimes you're like, I'm not feeling it today. So there's that thing. So now we have just experienced a full moon, and that full moon was in Aries. So now the moon is waning as it's entering Monday. And here what we have is this energy of Aries still influencing the vibration throughout the earth. And so what does that mean? A lot of things, that's what it means. Things are going to be moving a little bit faster. You may be reacting a little bit faster, responding to things a little sooner than you normally would. So that is one thing. Another thing that this influence may affect is the peak of curiosity. Things that you weren't interested in, all of a sudden you're like, man, I don't know, let me look into that. I want to try that. So you are looking into things even a little bit deeper that you may not have looked at things before. Another thing you may feel during this moon transition in Aries is you're willing to take risks. You're willing to say, yes, it doesn't hurt. Why not? Let's do it. Let's try that. Now, the other thing that we've got to be careful is, well, that might also mean that you might be quick to react, quick to respond. You might say things that you may regret. And why is that? Well, because Aries is influenced by the planet Mars. And Mars is all about, I'm in it to win it, and I really don't care who's in the way. I will plow through that situation. I will move on regardless of what's in the way. So you've got that little thing going on with that warrior planet Mars that influences Aries. So the moon is picking up all those vibes as it's traveling through the heavens. So if that's the energy you feel on Monday, to get up and do it and muscle your way through the day, that might be it. Okay, so let's move on to the next couple days, which is Tuesday. Now we see that on Tuesday and Wednesday, the moon now moves and transitions through the constellation of Taurus. So what should we be expecting? as we are moving through Tuesday and Wednesday, getting to that middle of the week. And so with Taurus, now this is kind of really focusing on that security, on being aware of, the money. So somehow between Tuesday and Wednesday, there's going to be some concerns about money management, finances, saving money, kind of in that move, maybe making some home improvements, some projects that have come up around the home. And that's some of the things that you will also be focusing on. You're going to be feeling that energy as well. So there is that sensation on Tuesday and Wednesday about stability, about focusing on, feeling comfortable, feeling safe, creating that comfort, creating security. And so those are some of the things that will come into play from the moon traveling through the constellation of Taurus. And also, what does that mean? Taurus is influenced by Venus. So the Venus is the planet of love and beauty. And with that, you could see this energy. So there's this desire to kind of make your surroundings feel comfortable for you. And you want to feel comfortable in that space as well. As you're moving through Tuesday and Wednesday, this is no longer that fiery energy has subsided. We've got that Taurus earthy energy, which kind of tells us, hey, let's look before we jump. Let's not just rush us into things. That gamble, that risky business is over for right now. We're now being kind of feeling a little bit more tapered, a little bit more calmer. Those effects of that full moon have now subsided. And so we are eager to have more of routines and predictability and solid ground beneath us. Okay, and the moon in its beautiful dance through the sky, then on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So it's taking its sweet time as it's moving and navigating through the constellation of Gemini. So we will begin to feel that influence on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, feeling the beautiful energy of the moon as it travels through the constellation of Gemini. So what does that mean when the moon is in Gemini? So Gemini is an air sign and it is ruled by Mercury. And for me, the way that I remember that is Mercury is the messenger. So there's communication and I could see probably some entertainment. So some of the things as we're moving through these next few days, which is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, it's like, hey, let's party. The weekend is coming. And so things are now a little bit lighthearted, not as intense as it was on Monday, and not as earthy as it was on Tuesday and Wednesday. So now it's really about heading into the weekend. There's a lot of conversations being had. The conversations are not as heavy, but just really kind of being excited about a lot of things that are happening. Could it be payday? Definitely, I could see that some of you will be making some travel plans and that's going to be in the works. There probably will be more phone calls than normal, maybe returning a few more emails, correspondences, and things like that, as this is ruled by Mercury. And there's a lot of things to start really, getting information. So there's this need to get information, maybe for travel plans, maybe things that you are trying to articulate, to put through, and that is that influence that you have. So definitely Gemini is bringing a lot out because you also want to speak your truth. There's some things that had been said, and this is the time to use this beautiful energy of the Gemini with that Mercury influence to clear things up. Great time to do just that. And also perhaps maybe things were kind of a little closed-minded. This allows for like a new approach, seeing things from a new angle. So that is really wonderful. And as we head into Sunday, the moon then moves in, positioning itself through the constellation of Cancer. And here we go with this water sign. So now you have the moon, which is all about emotions, traveling through the constellation of Cancer, which is a water sign, and it is ruled by the moon. So we got the double whammy. Some of you are going to be so gushy-washy, especially all the water signs. They're going to be like happy. They're going to be super expressive, and all the other planets are going to be in it, whether it's in good or bad. That's the conversation to be had, but there will be a bubbling of emotions, that opportunity. So with that being said, This is the time where you can feel, and Sunday is kind of cool for this, you go and do some things, that you wanted to do. Nurture yourself, take that time off to baby yourself, You may be feeling a little bit sensitive, and this really allows for you to cleanse yourself from maybe a little bit of the emotions that were weighing you down. This moon transition allows for a lot of healing when it comes to feelings and emotions, because it doesn't matter what end of the spectrum that is, whether it's a good feeling or a bad feeling, being in harmony and in balance with ourselves, it gives us the best health and the best human experience. So this might be a great day just to really kind of do an analysis of things that have happened during the week and begin to kind of, in your own way, purge, remove things that you no longer need, and come into terms with the things that you want to. So with this, it's really about kind of being aware of your feelings. If you're a little bit moody, kind of find that place, like, why are you so moody? And the moon in Cancer really gives us an opportunity to check in with our feelings. Are we too emotional? Are we dealing things with our feelings, and are we not with our mind? The moon in Cancer allows us to really take a look at our feelings and how we react with other people around us. So this moon is giving us a chance to kind of, are we allowing the environment to manipulate us? Are we allowing the news to manipulate us? Are we allowing other people to manipulate us? And then as you identify why, your different moods, are you having these mood swings, and then narrow it down. And it's not the person, it's something that you're learning from that environment. It's something that you're picking up from that person that you need to kind of bring into balance for yourself. So it's not really about the other person. It's like, oh, okay, this person now brought this to my attention so that I can work on this so that you can bring yourself into balance. All right, so that is the lunar influence for the week ahead of the 10th through the 16th. Let's move on now to the week ahead and draw cards for that. Okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, so let's take a look at what will be the influence on Monday. How is that going to start up? So Monday, here we start on Monday, and while we see 7 of Cups upside down, it appears that maybe there was a lot on the table, something that had moved on from the week before, 7 from the week before. It could have been just so much going on, and kind of you just kind of glad that you had the weekend to think things over, because you kind of had a chance to dump all that was coming at you and all these feelings from all these different areas. And with this Aries transition of the moon, you can see things a little bit clearer. I'm not saying that the chaos has subsided. The chaos is somewhat there, but there is something that is now allowing you to see things a little bit clearer. Could be in the area of relationship, career, and finances. Now you could see things, and you are going to now be willing to take that risk that you weren't so sure before the weekend started, but now you are ready to move forward. So Monday, things are presenting themselves, and you are able to move forward with this opportunities that's showing up. Tuesday. So we hit up Tuesday, and wow, what a beautiful message here. And is it interesting, because as we talked about that lunar influence, the moon is transitioning through the constellation of Taurus. And what did we say? Taurus is all about that grounding, that home life, that stability, that beauty. And then we also have the number 9. The number 9 is about that universal love and, caring for others. So possibly here on Tuesday, you might be getting some type of message, some good news. At the same time, your focus is in that stability. You also may feel that this crazy energy that we had on Monday. Now you want to kind of get back on the grind. You want to focus on, stability. You want to focus on your finances. You want to focus on, creating that stability at home. And so refocusing on that. And also with that Taurus energy, we have the influence of Venus here, which is, taking care of yourself. This is about beauty. It's about surrounding yourself with beautiful things. Now that you've got a clear vision, now you know which direction to go. So Wednesday. So we reach Wednesday, and interesting that we have the Hermit and it's upside down. So it could be a couple things. You're not following your intuition. At the same time, it could mean that there is a sense that you want to pull away from the chaos, because there's been a couple things that have been happening, and I get could be at the work related or could be in the relationship, but you kind of feel like you've got to kind of pull to yourself. And to do that, this is where you're going to be able to gather your own energy and assess what's your next step going to be. Because right now it seems like you're uncertain. You're uncertain which way you're going to go with some of the information that you gathered earlier this week on Monday. So right now, Wednesday is more about that. I want to think on this on myself. I need some alone time. And you're going to find yourself, either you want to do these projects by yourself, or you want to kind of pull away from, the crowd, so that you can better focus and better understand what the situation is. Thursday. All right, with Thursday, we have the Seven of Pentacles. We see that the Pentacles have already shown up on Tuesday, and we've seen that on Monday. It looks like something finally started moving forward so that we can start doing what we needed to do, what was planned before, and things are beginning to kind of unravel themselves. But now we kind of take a pause here. We stop here, and interesting because the moon is traveling through the constellation of Gemini. So now we've got this more of air sign, but we're concerned about what we're seeing here. It's like, where is all my work? Where's the payoff to all my work, all this effort that I'm putting in? You're thinking about you investing or investments, and you want to know that, this is what's it going to yield? Where's it going to go? And if you put money into this, or if you put time and energy, what that payoff? So it's a little bit of a little tension. So the Gemini energy, which is being magnified by the moon, is opening up to have a conversation. It's opening up to kind of take a look at this from a different approach, from a different angle. And as you do that with this energy, which is very mercurial because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, this is going to open conversation. So you're thinking things through. You want to know kind of, like, hey, I don't want to move with this project, or I don't want to move with this investment, or I don't want to do anything else until we talk about this, because now we've gone from that grounding element now to mental. We're thinking things through. With Gemini, we have this influence, kind of put a little break on ourselves and on our projects to reevaluate, what we're doing as we head into the weekend. Okay, Friday. Isn't that something? As we're looking at the Ace of Wands here, usually when we see that, it's a fire sign, and it's about, hey, let's get things started. I've got great ideas. I've got these plans, the new beginnings to these great ideas and projects that pulse. This is really all about, hey, let's put this plan to work. But it looks like there are some things that need to slow down. Whatever this is, whether it's a relationship, whether it's in your career or your investments, your money field, the money area, it looks like you are drastically stopping because you took a pause. It looks like some things may have come out that now this cannot get started. So there is a serious halt. You're not ready to start. There's still some things that need to be worked out, and that conversation needs to still continue, as we are with that energy of Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. So there's still things that need to be discussed before anybody puts any more time, money, effort into, this project that, that you want to do. So if you are feeling frustrated that, you're waiting on someone else, that's the element that's happening. There's still more conversations, more T's that need to get crossed, more I's that need to get dotted. And while you may be frustrated that this is not moving fast enough, there is that element in place that needs to still be clarified. Saturday. We go into the weekend feeling good. So definitely this is beautiful as we come into the weekend, and it looks like things were resolved, things were spoken about, things were talked about, and we are seeing now you have the support. Not only do you have a way to get through this great idea that you had that finally came through, and it may have to do with family, it may have to do with the home life, but it definitely is something to do with you, wherever it is that you're doing. And this is actually, you're very positive about it, and it was okay. It was okay to, you yourself kind of think things through. And as you move in, taking a look at the situation, you're heading into the weekend feeling pretty good about, the week, feeling that you feel like you're ready to celebrate something that finally got cleared up. So it's interesting because when you look at this, you see the coins here, you see the coins here, a lot of the material things. You have very earthy projects, things that you really want to achieve. And then in a way, you see the staff here, the golden staff, which is your wisdom, but you weren't connecting. You just really needed to pull back because you weren't seeing things from that higher ground. And but you did, and you see the staff again here. Now kind of you came back to earth here, but you still had that influence from the Gemini kind of urging you, hey, stop. You got to talk this through. You got to really think this through. And then, of course, after you did some thinking, it wasn't going to happen. After things were clarified, after the communication took place, whatever that was, because that's what Gemini does. Gemini brings in that Mercury influence, which pushes communication, pushes information. And so with that information, you were able to come into Saturday feeling really good about getting some things done. And Sunday, okay, so we have the Empress, and she is upside down. And that is interesting because the Empress is all about bounty and abundance. And it's interesting because the moon is traveling through the constellation of Cancer as it's positioning itself through that constellation. And Cancer is ruled by the moon. And so when we go back to that influence, what does that mean? And remember how, if you go back to that portion of this video, it was saying, hey, maybe you need to use today to come in line with your feelings. And the Empress here, she being upside down, it's like, what is it that you're not nurturing? What is it that you are not caring for about yourself? And what is it that's missing in your life that needs completion? It is the balance of both energies, positive and negative. It is the balance of yin and yang, the male and female. So what is missing? Is there some aspect of your life that you are not nurturing, that you are not filling in? So that is what is coming through with this beautiful energy here. It's really for you to come in tune and alignment with your feelings. It's not to reject your feelings. It's to be aware of them. Just like that little toddler. Sure, he's going to have a temper tantrum. But all he wants to do is that you acknowledge that he's having the temper tantrum. And once you say, oh, I see you're having a temper tantrum, experience that, breathe. Okay, now what? Then comes a negotiation, right? All right, so there we have it, Monday through Sunday. We start in with some clear projects and ideas. We come in through a lot of things that have happened about yourself and the effort that you're putting into things and communicating, whether it's in love, finance, or career, and coming in that, maybe things didn't work out the way you wanted it, but at the end, God opens up a door, shows us a way, and we do come out on top. The thing is now we've come through that cycle because there was a lot of things that happened, and we come here, where are we emotionally? And we need to make peace with that and heal the things that were said. Because remember, we started off with fiery Aries, and Aries is about like having that bull in a china cabinet, doesn't care, so it's a question of how did you manage to get through things, and what did you use to help you be the best version of yourself while also being strong and kind to those around you. Interesting. All right, let's take a look now at the, okay, so we've got one. I'll be the extra one. So let's take a look now at what should we allow or what should we reject this week? What should we be open to? Okay, so we have that. Okay, so what we'll allow and what will we reject? So this will be the card like this, and this will be the card like this. It's interesting. Okay, so I could see that probably in the beginning of the week there's going to be discussions, because you see all the cups are upside down, so there's a lot of things that need to happen before you can actually get to what a great weekend you're going to be on. But still, on Friday, it seems like, you know, either you decided to kind of move on into the weekend with some gains, but there's still going to be some things that are not going to be able to come through. And so there may be the situation here that it means, you know, it's allowing other people to speak, allowing other people to speak their mind. And interesting that then, while we have this air sign here, then we have this as the earth sign. It seems like as you're willing to receive criticism or feedback, you are going to have some gains. So it's interesting that this is really about allowing the other person to speak, allowing other people to express themselves just as much as you would like to express yourself. And you're going to gain more with honey than you do with vinegar. So in that sense, there will be carving a space, as you can see this beautiful arch here, that you're giving space for others, making them feel safe to express themselves just as much as you would want. And what you're going to do is, what's going to happen is you will actually have more gains and more connections here with these beautiful sunflowers here. So again, they're in the House of Pentacles with that number 9. Again, the number 9 refers to that unconditional love. So as you open yourself up and allow others to express themselves, you're going to actually win more, not only in friendships, in love, but also in making progress towards the things you want to gain. And then let's talk about the things that you should reject. So that's interesting. Look at that. This one's upside down. Reject the desire to be right. To reject the power. It's like you don't always have to be the one in the front, which is what that was trying to tell you that you were doing here. So this is probably where some of this came through here. So in the sense here, it's like reject the need to be right all the time. Reject the idea that you always have to be the one, you know, calling all the shots. You know, sometimes you actually will win more when you can work and collaborate with others. And that number 4 is about that collaboration and sustainability, and it's about building foundations. So if you come in trying to, you know, muscle your way through things, then you're not going to be creating trust. You're not going to be creating foundations. So this is saying reject foundations. And look at that. As you let go of that need to be in control, you open up for communication. And I love how we have here the Lovers here. And in this is interesting because the number 6 represents unconditional love and balance. And so as you reject the desire to be in control, you actually are going to bring balance. That's what you have when you have the Lovers card, the yin and the yang. I feel like I just said that yes, on Sunday. Yeah. So, you know, you're going to coming back to this here. If you look at this reading, and that's what showed up over here, you could see that balance is so important. But if you're the one, you know, trying to hold the key, you know, and be the one in power and be in control, then you're not in balance. You're not in balance. So as you open yourself up to softening yourself around the edges, what you will have, and you reject the desire to be in control all the time, and give people that chance to be heard, allow people to speak their mind, then you bring harmony and you bring balance. You are the bringer of balance and harmony. Love that. All right. Let's go on now and do a one card for, draw a card for each one of the elements and see what we should focus the week ahead. Fire sign, earth sign, air sign, water sign. Okay, my fire signs, these are my Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And how perfect, because the wands represent fire signs. So how appropriate. And here, as we're approaching this week, a week that has started with having some clarity in our decisions, yet we were trying to reassess where we're going. It's to approach the week with that sense of patience, because and intuitive, kind of follow your intuition. In what is happening, you are familiar. This queen is showing us that. She is here in her throne. We see her at her best, surrounded by beauty. We see her with her staff, and we see that she knows how to wield both with a firm hand and with her intuition, as it's represented in both hands. And if you could see in the lightness that she is holding these, it doesn't take much effort. She has gained the respect of those around her. So we have her, the wisdom here. We see that she has some protection with this amulet, and the little cat here, the black cat, that represents intuition and hidden information. So she has access to all of this. So remember, as you're moving forward through your week, that you have the resources at your fingertip, and that you have gained the respect and the experience that whatever this decision is, that outcome will be there. So take a look. Remember how I said the subtle signs of the wands? So definitely for the fire signs, there is going to be a sense that this week is a good week for you, very favorable as you continue to maneuver through the week. Let's see how this fares for the earth signs. So we have the Six of Pentacles. So it's very interesting because we do have Pentacles showing up in two areas here, and definitely in the house of what we talked about, things that you need to reject. So, trying to overpower. So this is, again, what's interesting is also here that the 6 is associated with love, and we see how we here in the things that we need to reject, which is that wanting to control, that power, that need to be, always, controlling every aspect. So we have a confirmation here, as you could see, for this is my earth signs. We're talking about Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn. So when you lead with love, and we let go of the desire to always be the one that's right, always the one in control, always the one that's, has to have that last word here, bring in that aspect of love and balance. So remember, see here, you see the balance. And then here in this message, we see the balance by the female and male energies as well. So you're going to gain so much more with that for you. So as you approach these situations, you're going to be in a position to be giving. People will be coming to you. Expect that, maybe looking to borrow some money, looking for some support, looking for some guidance. So if you approach everything from a place of love, you will be able to know how you're going to assist people. So it's interesting how your week is going to roll out for all my earth signs. Okay, let's move on to air. Let's see what the air signs show. And my air signs, this is ruled by Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. And in this respect, wow, a major arcana with the number 1. So it looks like there's going to be new projects that are starting. And it's interesting, don't get discouraged, because we saw that on Friday, maybe things are not going to kind of go the way that you wanted. It's not about forcing a situation, because obviously we see that the weekend is still going to be very favorable. But you are definitely at the precipice of starting something new, whether it is a new project, a new relationship, an investment you're making, something that you're engaging in. It is definitely something that you've got on the table. You're ready to move forward. You've got all the elements there, and you're at the beginning of this stage, and you feel like this is the right time. You feel like you're inspired to get this started now, that this is the time to put the brass in the burner and just, get it going. So for my Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini, we see that there were some things that you weren't too sure, because you had given it a lot of thought, because you guys my air signs are always thinking things through. Come Monday, it looks like you are able to see what you want to do, and this Magician showing up is showing that all the elements are on the table. There's nothing holding you back, except here where you might want to pull back. Here we see this on Wednesday, and you're reassessing things. So as you are entering these things, you are definitely looking forward to beginning something new. So for my air signs, my Libra, my Aquarius, and Geminis, it looks like you are ready to start something new. Perhaps this thing that came over through the weekend, and on Monday we're seeing that there's these new projects that you want to get started. Or this could be in the area of relationship. It could be career, could be finances, could be some other project that you are embarking on. You're definitely at the place where you're starting something new. You're really excited about this, and the intentions are there. They're coming from a pure place, as we see here with the roses in your garden. And as you're working things through, just consider that if you can stay connected with that divine plan and that divine purpose, the Magician is signaling that the time is now, that you have all the tools within you, that you have the knowledge that you need, you have the resources at your disposal to get the things that you wanted started this week. So you'll be able to start that new project that you want to. Let's look at the water signs. So these are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. All right, for our water signs. Okay, the water signs, hello, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. You are up next, and the wheel of fortune has come to your door. Where's it going to land? This thing is about opportunities. And the thing is that this is an opportunity you want to take, because it doesn't matter what spectrum of the wheel it lands. It is about taking this on, because it will signify the end of a lesson, the end of a chapter. So this is the beginning of an end. So as you're working through your week, you're going to be looking at wrapping things up. There might be some random things that are going to show up. It really is that you show up for whatever is showing up in your life, and to move with it in a sense of conclusion. It's in a sense of, okay, let's get this done. Let's finalize these things, and embracing that attitude with a little bit of creativity. And that is something that you are not lacking. So as this wheel spins, you are almost excited to see where it lands, and you are okay with that, because now that we're aware, what does this mean? It means conclusion, it means wrapping things up. It means that you have a chance now to get things done the way you'd like, and to finalize these projects, these deals, these ideas, these communication, whatever is there, you can now move forward to get to the finish line with it. Okay, so that takes care of our elementals, and now let's move on to the next phase, which is, let's take a look at the number influence for the week. I thought this would be fun. I dropped in a bunch of dominoes, so we'll see what number shows up for us for the number energy. Oh, number 5. All right, so that's the energy. So for us, it's expecting to see what we call change. And we need to welcome this change. There's a sense of personal freedom. There's going to be some life lessons and opportunity that it's going to come our way through this. At the same time, it's about making decisions and choices and being courageous about these things. It is also about healing. We see the healing over here that happens on Sunday when we are kind of embracing all our feelings and, connecting with that side of us that we are missing. We need to nurture this part of us, and we need to come in connection with our feelings and emotions. And so that is part of that healing process. So I do love this, how this is. And if you take a look, since the die is kind of split down the middle with this, we take that first number 2, and it kind of lets us take half of the week and say, okay, so we start this week with this approach of service and duty, and looking at how we can balance things that can help out not only for myself, but in the bigger picture, the bigger plan. So how integrating that idea that you want to be there to bring harmony, to do your part, and to collaborate. And then we look at towards the end of the week, which is 3 is about expansion, communication, sociability, and that sense of, manifesting things. So when we see this 3 in that context, we have this kind of energy here that there are some things that are working through, and that there, remember how we said when you go back to this and says you've got the Gemini energy came in, and that's very mercurial, but also with Mercury comes communication. The number 3 is a number of manifestation and communication and expansion. So we see that being played out here. With ultimate, what's going to be the outcome is to be willing to accept the change as they come through that number 5, which is about that personal freedom, which is about change, which is about embracing life's lessons. So I think that was really cool. This next section is the question of the week, brought to you by our community members. So I have this one question that was asked, and the question was, what is going to happen to our economy in the coming weeks? So this person has concern about the economy and where things are going. Okay, so let's kind of move our players over just a tad. What is going to happen to the economy in the next few weeks? Okay. Well, with the 9 of Cups, it's interesting because we started with, the 9 of Cups on Monday. So it's interesting. We may see some influence of poor communication within the governmental leaderships, and this communication is going to affect the populace in a very negative way. I mean, people are feeling very uncertain. And at the same time, it's almost like with the 9 itself, referring to that end of a cycle, we are getting closer to some decision apparently, but still the powers that be are not in agreement, and they're not on the same page. And so what's the matter with this? Something with the 7 of Wands now, it's interesting because we know that the Wands is a fire sign, and this is really in a global sense, in a spiritual sense, the number 7 is is a number of collective consciousness. And so there is like this collective energy that is affecting the decision makers. So what's really interesting, while there is a leadership that is not coming into agreement, it seems that the collective consciousness does not want confrontation. So we have then the 7 of Wands, and it's overseeing this. So it's interesting because even though we have the powers that be, these decision makers, it seems like they're being influenced by a greater amount. This could be because the number 7 represents the collective consciousness. And this collective consciousness could be that they have an outside pressure to kind of come into terms. It seems that this collective group wants to see some type of resolution, and sooner than later. And what will be the outcome of this kind of, because it seems that you've got leadership, but then you've got populace, and there's a situation that's coming in, and the pressure is like on for the leaderships or the leaders, the world leaders, to do what needs to be done in a way that can bring some stability in the economy, because there seems to be a collective group that's really pumping themselves up, and they're awakening. They're awakening to what is happening in the economy. They're awakening to not just what's happening locally, but they're seeing what's happening in the greater picture and the leadership behind that. So what will be that outcome? What will be the outcome with the economy, with what these negotiations are going on and these influences that's happening and affecting the leadership? Well, so we end up with the 7 of Cups. So it looks like we have the 7 of Wands. And so now a lot of things will be revealed. So these things that the leaders were trying to hide and not share, it looks like through this influence of the collective, the majority, things will be revealed. It's interesting, from good things to sneaky things. A lot of things are going to be revealed in the next few weeks. And it's going to be because of the influence of this outside force on the global leaders. So that's going to be interesting, what's going to happen with the economy. In a way, whatever happens, it is cups facing up. So, when things come out, that's how you can start addressing the matters. There's always new ways to handle old problems. And that's what we need to look at, is new ways to handle old problems, because the economy that is here now is an economy that now our younger generation will inherit. So it's very important for us to be open-minded, and it's very important for the leaders to be open-minded. And it looks like some of this stuff will be uncovered, and that will begin a new conversation. We'll see what happens after that. I look forward to your questions for next week. And if you're interested in posing a question for the comprehensive collective message for the week, please do so. Leave it in the comment and we'll bring it in. Okay, so now we will move to the sound therapy and affirmation. This is about giving yourself permission for 1 minute to go into your own space, to observe your energy. You can close your eyes. I will ring the bell at the beginning of the minute, and I will ring the bell again at the end of the minute. So that gives you a chance. If you would like to relax and give yourself 1 minute where you close your eyes and just focus on yourself, you could focus on your breathing. Notice the inhale and notice the exhale. Notice the depth of your inhale and the depth of your exhale. Notice your breath. Do you take it into your lungs or do you take it into your belly? Notice how you expand your body and how you contract it. Or you can focus on your body. Take this minute to just kind of go in and do little checkpoints. Are there areas in your body that feel tense? Give yourself permission and send healing, and just say, I notice you here. It's okay for you to relax, to heal. Or you can go ahead and just focus on your ears and notice all the sounds around you, whatever sounds they may be in the space that you're at, from the smallest sounds of the creaking of a door, your pet, somebody turning on something, or outside of that perimeter. How far can your ears notice things? Or you can notice and observe the light that is bouncing off of your closed eyelids. What colors are there? Are they vibrating? Are you seeing anything on the back of your eyelids? Or you can move on to still yet another area and feel your skin. Feel the pressure of the beautiful air on you. Is there any wind? Is there any heat? What are you feeling? Tinglings on your body? It's 1 minute. But there's so much that helps you become aware of your space and of your spirit in your body in that space. So let's go ahead and do that. I will go ahead and ring the bell. And once I ring the bell, I will go ahead and move on to sharing the affirmation for the week. I'll repeat it twice. You can repeat it with me in your head or out loud. And allow this beautiful affirmation. If it feels true, let it sit with us and let it move through us. Okay, feel free now to go ahead and close your eyes. Okay, well, come back. Hopefully you enjoyed that. The affirmation for this week is, I am open to speaking my truth. I am open to speaking my truth. Well, my dear ones, I hope that you've enjoyed this time with me. I sure have enjoyed it with you. And if there is something that can help make your day a little bit better, give you a little more clarity, then I feel like I've contributed something positive in your life. So that is wonderful. And having said that, thank you so very much. Do hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you'd like, hit the bell, and you will be notified when I put up my next video.